Hello, everyone, and welcome to Conversations in Horror. I am your host, Kevin L. Powers. I'm also the owner operator of Something Wicked Entertainment, and welcome to our podcast, this glorious day in which we are going to talk about a really gory horror film.
Oh no.
Me and my special guest have already been talking a little bit about it, and we're kind of excited to talk about this movie.
Yeah.
Before we get to it, that was Jim Adams. He's our special guest for today. Thank you.
I'm the found footage expert on this. No, actually, you're probably more of a found footage expert than I am. But I got all the found footage films that we're doing pretty much here, or a bunch of them anyway, most of them.
So you're hearing already a little bit of something we're going to be doing today. If you've never listened to our show before, I want you to realize that we have been delving into a lot of different subgenres of horror this year, and we're going to keep continuing to do that because we want to actually highlight a lot of films that are either forgotten about, have been missed, or have become cult classics. We want to give them a larger audience. And as you've already heard Jim say, we are going to do a found footage film, which is a very maligned subgenre. But the film that we're doing is a cult film in the making. I don't know how much of a cult classic it is yet.
It's getting there. I think it's getting there.
I think it's getting there too. But the film we're going to talk about is Frankenstein's Army.
Oh my goodness. Now, not to be confused with a god-awful film called The Army of Frankensteins that I think was a made-for-TV film for sci-fi or something.
See, you said that, and I was about to say Frankenstein's Theory, which is also another found.
That's another bad one. Yeah. That's yeah. And I got to admit, when I first saw this movie, I didn't really know what to expect from it. I was not expecting a lot. And boy, was I surprised.
Well, the thing about this movie for me is I had read about the Zombots and saw some of the designs for them, but I didn't know anything else about the movie other than that.
Yeah.
I think it got a blurb or a couple pages in a Fangoria issue or Blue Morgue or a horror hound, and that's how I knew about the film. And I didn't see this at the theater, if it even got a theatrical release. I literally saw it when it came out on DVD. Is how I saw it, which is it's rare.
I saw it for the first time streaming. It just looked intriguing, and I got to admit the movie poster or the poster, the graphic that they use to advertise it, looked so similar to Iron Sky, which is like an all-time favorite of mine.
Yes, that's the favorite of mine too.
Oh my God, I love that film, and the sequel itself. And the sequel is hard to find. That's what got me to watch it. It was like, okay, Frankenstein's Army. And I kept thinking about this god awful film, and I believe it may have been by the Asylum or whatever, but one of those quickies that sci-fi was so famous for, called The Army of Frankensteins, which actually came out the year after this one did.
I've seen that one too. I don't remember that one nearly as well.
It's you don't need to remember it. Yeah, it's so badly done. And I kept thinking, okay, I guess I'm probably getting into one of those type of films, but I was very, very surprised in a good way when I saw this film. I really liked this film.
So when I first saw this film, I really liked this film because it was what I wanted at that time. It was a gory film with some great practical effects.
Absolutely,
and these monsters, and I'm a huge monster fan.
And it's all practical. I don't think there's any CG work in here at all that I could pick up.
You know what? You might be right about that.
Yeah, I think all of the effects were practical, which really amazed me.
Okay.
Yeah. It was 2013, folks. So you had CG back then, but it was pretty cheap if you had to depend on it.
Yeah, this was not a big budget film. That's why I can't remember if it had a theatrical release or not. It could have played. I guarantee you it played at film festivals, but I don't know if it got
I believe you're right. I believe it was strictly a film festival film in the United States. Anyway, I don't think it was released in any major theaters.
Because wasn't it IFC who put it out?
MPI.
MPI, okay.
MPI Media Group, which is not a very well-known group. I mean, they do theatrical films, but they basically do a lot of video stuff. And they specialize a lot in horror. But I think you're right. I know it was entered in a couple of festivals here in the United States, but I don't recall a major theatrical release on this one.
Well, and that's kind of the way the films were going in the 2010s. because that's when we started getting into a lot of the streaming services and stuff like that. I can't remember if the blockbusters and video rentals were completely gone at that time. It seems
it's getting close.
yeah, dude, it seems like they've been gone for at least 20 years.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then it was definitely towards this time.
I think this probably owes a lot more to streaming, and the one thing that leads me to believe that was more that than any major theatrical release was one of the participants in the making of this film was Dark Sky Pictures, which were well known for all the Dark Shadow films and television show and stuff. So that was really their American connection.
I remember seeing the logo.
3 different companies involved with this.
Well, and which is odd because it's a found footage film for one.
Yeah.
And we've been talking a lot about found footage films, and this one's a very traditional found footage film, the way it is crafted. Very traditional way. But unlike one of our previous conversations, which was about Chernobyl Diaries, or depending on when we release this and when people actually listen to this, between Chernobyl Diaries and some of the other films that we've as above, so below, and some of the other ones we've discussed last month, this one is very traditional in its presentation as a found footage film.
Absolutely, yeah.
There is the main character, Russian soldier, who is carrying the camera, documenting everything, and he has a purpose. He has an ulterior motive.
Oh yeah.
That he's recording everything he sees. I can't remember this character's name, the person behind the camera, to save my life.
Let's see. The camera guy was Sasha, I believe.
No, Sasha was the
Sergey. Here, I'm going to get him wrong. Sergey. Yep.
So yeah, Sasha's the young one.
They all look the same. Yeah, they all look no, I'm just kidding, folks. I get the names all confused.
In this film, you're going to get the names confused because they don't go about trying to introduce each of the different characters.
They don't. No, you're thrown right into it. You are there.
So what happens for everyone? Sergey gives a kind of a overview of what he's doing and why he's there and why he's filming everything to the camera. Before then, we follow him with a Russian battalion who are tasked with rescuing another Russian battalion that has gone missing in a town. I don't think they ever name the town either.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they don't ever name the town. So, but unbeknownst to the battalion
and I need to correct myself. It was Dmitri who's doing the filming.
Oh, Dmitri. Okay.
Yes, I'm sorry. I misled Kevin on that one there.
Yeah, and the thing is, because this movie just jumps right into the action.
You
get in there. It's kind of hard because they don't have those scenes where they set up each of the characters.
No, we just know that it's like a very veteran squad of Russian soldiers. Dmitri joins them, so he's the new guy. But and then he's always got the camera out. 15mm camera. He's shooting everything.
No, because I think. Oh yeah, Sergey is the Polish soldier.
Right. That's what got me bugged. It's like, wait a minute, I don't think I'm right on the Sergey thing. So.
Yeah. Sergey is the Polish one who ends up taking control after their sergeant is killed.
Right.
No, but before we jump into all that, essentially, this is a Russian. We got into the Russian soldiers battalion.
Yep.
Tasked to rescue another set of Russians in another town, but they're not told all the pertinent information that Dmitri is hiding. And you find this out as the film goes along.
Yeah, they just think he's one of the guys from, the Russians are really good for propaganda like the Germans were. Mm-hmm. And he's just, he's taking all this film stuff to make the Russian guys look good. They just see him as, he's one of those guys. So be careful what you say and do around there because it's going back to the boss.
Yeah.
Stalin.
Which you see those reactions when the Russian battalion starts doing stuff to the townspeople that they shouldn't be. They steal the chickens and do other stuff.
Oh yeah.
And of course they put their hand over Dimitri's camera because you can't record this.
Oh yeah, don't can't record that.
Yeah. And then of course the one thing I didn't notice until I rewatched it is that the very opening, after Dmitri introduces himself, we see all these made up shots that he's doing of the different soldiers and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
The posing shots, which I thought was funny because it reminded me of the documentary Nanook of the North, where that really isn't what happened. They Flattery, I think is his last name, created all of these shots that were no longer relevant, right, just to make people think this is how these people really lived. I find that hilarious because I don't know if I ever noticed that when I first saw the film. I only noticed it on the rewatch. I was like, this is hilarious.
Yeah. Now the one thing I did realize fairly early on that they were in Germany, so this is near the end of the war.
Yes,
they've crossed into, and I think somebody actually figured out they were in some particular city, and I can't remember what it was. It was one of the smaller German cities. I've got some notes on it. If I find it during the show, I'll throw it in. But they are definitely at the end of the war. So these people that they're sort of terrorizing in these villages are Germans. So
yes,
and of course it's legendary that Russia just, when they got into Germany, they so hated the Germans that you didn't want to be German and be involved with the Russian army. Just put it that way. There were some real atrocities that went on during that time period. So we're near the end of the war. We're getting near the end of the war here.
Yeah, but you bring up a good point, because even in this movie, these Russians who are supposed to be the main characters are not really great either.
No, they're not. No, they're not.
Other than stealing from the German peasants.
That's
you
it.
also have the scene when they get to the town where they're looking for the Russians, and they come across the few Germans that are trying to leave.
Right.
They treat them horribly.
Oh, awful. Yeah, they're terrible. Yeah.
And then when they get into the I don't know what their what is the no I can't remember the Dr. Frankenstein's the actual real name.
Well, they refer to him as Dr. Victor Frankenstein.
Oh, do they actually?
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Well, with him,
except he is supposedly
the great grandson or something,
like the grandson or the great. I think he's the grandson. And his father had also worked on the. So I mean, you think back in the old classic films. I guess maybe his father was. Maybe he was the little boy in Son of Frankenstein. Who knows? But he makes reference to his grandfather's work and his father's work.
Yeah. I do remember that, which I don't think I picked up on the very first time I saw it.
I caught most of that on the second and third viewings of this movie. Yeah.
Because unfortunately, since I didn't see it this in theater, I know I missed a lot because I picked up on a lot of it when I was.
There is a lot, yeah. I picked up more. The bigger my TV screens got, the more I was able to pick up on this movie.
Yeah. But what I liked about this film, and now, is that film is essentially a bunch of characters that you don't necessarily have to like. They don't treat people.
Yeah.
Right. It's war, yes, but they're just treating the peasants horribly. And at one point, they use a freaking German child as
oh God, yeah, that is awful. Yeah.
I mean, they kind of save the child, and then they kind of use him as bait.
Yeah, he's been hiding out from. Yeah, he's hiding out from the Nazis this whole time, and then he meets up with the Russians, and they just throw him right back into it.
So you kind of don't really feel bad for most of these people for what eventually happens to them, because the cool thing about this movie, and the thing that I know a lot of people pull from this movie, is the so-called creations from Dr. Frankenstein, his zombots.
Oh God, the zombots, yeah.
Which are no two are alike.
No.
And they are all creatively different.
Yes. With a capital D.
Well, the thing is, like, like Frankenstein became like George Lucas in Star Wars. He just started creating aliens, and zombots out of everything and anything, and they're all completely different from one another. And
well, it's like most of these towns that the Russians are getting into have been bombed, and you got all this scrap stuff floating all over the place, and garbage and stuff, and it's sort of like he made people out of all of the scrap that you could find in any of these places.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just unbelievable.
It's unbelievable, and it's actually quite gory.
Oh, it's gory. Yeah, yeah. If you don't like blood, folks, you do not want to see this movie. There
but
is a lot of blood.
there is, but I will have to note that when the blood actually hits the camera, it makes for some really cool sequences.
Yes, it does.
And that's where we get into the fact that we think most of all this is practical because it looks so damn good. Now I can see
Absolutely.
like some of the zombots having some CGI, like the one whose face opens and shuts all the time, and um, I don't even know how to describe it. Some of these are so disturbing.
Oh, it is very hard to describe. Yeah, we will do our best, folks, but probably by our describing it, maybe you'll want to go see this movie because it's worth a watch. It really is.
And it does not take long for them to jump into those zombies.
No. I mean they go into this one town and they're terrorizing it. They're taking food and getting the chickens to eat and brutalizing the people that live there and all that. And they pick up this emergency broadcast, or they pick up a Russian soldier on their radio saying, "Help me, help! I need help or whatever." And they're like, "Okay, I guess we got to go help this guy." Definitely these are burned out soldiers. They don't really want to. They're tired of the damn war, but it's one of theirs, and he's stuck in this German town in trouble, and they're looking for him, and which takes them to this one town where they meet the little boy and all that stuff, and all they want is like, tell us where our Russian comrade is, or we're gonna do some nasty things to you.
Yep.
Which they do. To when they get to an old abandoned church where they encounter an old guy who they cut his finger off to get him to talk.
To torture him. Yeah,
it was awful. Oh, they were awful to that poor man.
Yeah, you want to kill his rabbits for food, and you torture him for information that he may or may not have for you.
Right.
Yeah, it's and that is
and it's people who hate the Nazis as much as they do. So it's
Vasily.
That's the whole unfairness of the whole thing. Yeah, Vasily. Yeah,
Vasily, who is like the epitome of an evil soldier.
Oh God, yes, yeah.
He does all the bad stuff that's imaginable.
You got that right.
Yeah, I do get some of their names. I did not get all of the soldiers' names. Including Sergei, the Polish guy, and Vasily, who's the crazy one. I get some of them. It's unfortunate that they just call the one German soldier that they come across with Ava is Fritz.
Yeah.
Which I felt hilarious. They just call him Fritz.
Fritz. Yep.
Fritz. Now, there is some humor in this film because unfortunately, this is a crazy movie from beginning to end. Well, from beginning to end, but once you see your first Zombot, which is in the church of all places, the abandoned church, and they accidentally revive it by turning on the power, then all the
right.
Yeah, then all of them come out of the woodwork. And
oh my God, yeah.
And they're practical. It's so refreshing to see practical, and it's a found footage film.
Yeah.
So that makes it even more special.
You see it from Dimitri's point of view.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He drops the camera a lot. They do that well. But yeah, I watched this film several times. I don't think they screwed up. I mean, I think they kept that perspective proper through the whole movie. It's pretty much Dimitri's camera that you're watching the footage that's being shot.
Mm-hmm.
So they do an excellent job on that.
Yeah. Which is actually, I just realized it's just actually surprising considering how often they get attacked by the zombots.
All the time. Yeah. Once they get into that final village there, and then into that abandoned church, which apparently it's underneath that church where all of this stuff's going on, where Dr. Frankenstein's doing his experiments, which defy description. We'll do the best we can with it. And the first one they find is weird because it's like a corpse. All these wires are running out of its head or whatever. And then when they have, who is it? I think they have Sasha go turn on the generator or whatever. So
Dimitri and Sasha go do it.
Or whatever. Yeah, they flip on the generator, and all of a sudden this thing comes to life, and it's got like a built-in saber saw in one of its arms, and old Sarge there, the head of the squad, gets it. He's right there next to him, and boom. Let's just say it inviscerates him. I guess it's he's gone. I mean, let's just say he doesn't last very long. His guts are all over the place. Oh my God! And then they go, yeah, there's something weird going on here. And that happens just like in a blink of an eye. It happens so quickly.
It happens really
and then the roller coaster starts.
Yes, and that's what makes it really interesting is that for the most part, it's a roller coaster ride, and it's once the action starts, it never stops.
Yeah.
For a few moments, it does, which is one of the things I really another thing that I really enjoyed is once Dimitri is ridiculed and left for his own devices by the surviving soldiers, Sergei, Vasily.
Right.
I think there was another one, but I could be wrong. But those two are the main ones because they're sick of him.
Yeah, because once the elder guy gets killed, once the squad leader gets killed, then Sergei and Vasily or whatever, they sort of fight over who's going to be the squad leader. Dimitri says he should be the guy because he's got more rank than them, but it's like, no, you're not. We're going to call in the shots here.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you got that whole dynamic going on the whole rest of the way.
Yeah, because Vasily doesn't really trust the Polish guy.
Oh no, he doesn't, and he definitely doesn't trust Dimitri because he's, from the Ministry of Propaganda or whatever they call it in the Soviet Union.
Yeah. But after, I think they abandon Dimitri after he tries to tell them the truth about why he's there.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, that's the straw that breaks the camel's back.
Yeah, because they were like, dude, we need to get the hell out of here if we want to live. And Dimitri says, you have an order, you have your orders you have to follow. And that kind of defines his character for the rest of the film, Dimitri.
Yeah, because he actually is a captain and has some rank, and he tries to pull it. And it's like, Dimitri's sort of stupid in this movie. He's like, if he thought that was going to work with those two guys, I mean, he's like, guy, these are veteran soldiers. They don't care if you're a captain or not. You're in their house right now. And they're. Well, and from that point on, Dimitri knows that he's got to watch it because they're after him. They're definitely coming after him.
Well, yeah. Once they abandon him, then he drops down that conveyor belt and further into the bowels.
This is after they take care of the little boy. Unfortunately, that's the most horrific thing. This big chute that they discover leading down into some deep part of the property or whatever. It's down where all the labs are. They just sort of tell the boy, we'll bring it back up. We're just going to shoot you down there. We'll hold on to you and see how you do. And when you hear the kid screaming, then he didn't do very well. And they come up without him. And then Dimitri, they throw down there. They just say, yeah, why don't you check this out? Go film this, and throw him and his camera down the chute. All dead bodies and stuff at the bottom of it. It's just a mess.
It is
just a precursor of things to come.
Yeah, but it's the production design for everything.
Yes.
Like the first time they encountered the Zombots in the tunnels, where
oh God, yes.
There's multiple different Zombots, not just one. Like in a really, really low budget movie, they probably would have only created one, maybe two of these Zombots.
Yeah,
but this one has several of them. And
they must have had a blast coming up with what they were going to do.
Oh yeah, just coming out of nowhere, scaring the crap out.
I think the airplane motor one is my favorite.
Oh yeah, the one.
Basically, folks, if you can imagine a guy has an airplane motor where his head used to be, and the propeller's spinning. Oh, it was great.
I guarantee you, the people who designed all of these Zombots had a fucking blast.
I think they did. Yeah, I think so, absolutely.
Oh, the makeup artists and their team to make all that stuff work.
Right.
The thing about the Zombots is, for most part, a lot of them have moving pieces. on their bodies.
Yes.
They're not just one notes with like some of them have like blades and hooks and all kinds of other shit.
Yeah, think Ash in Evil Dead. You know, he had a chainsaw for an arm or whatever,
Mhm.
but he could interchange it with other things. You know, it definitely. Yeah, nobody has just a straight arm. They got a big blade or something or a saw or whatever. I mean, it's just it's unbelievable.
But that's also the allure for the movie because no one would remember
Yeah.
the movie if not for the Zombots.
No, that's the thing that's the thing. That's what everyone talks about is
That's
how
what
crazy they are, the things that they do.
Well, and when you rewatch the film, you pick up on a lot of the stuff that you didn't get to see before, and
Yes.
it actually makes for a much more enjoyable rewatch experience. Because
Oh yeah.
when I originally saw the film, I thought I didn't remember anything of it other than liking the Zombots.
Yeah. First time through, I'm with you on that one. Yeah.
And even when I rewatched it now and for the show and trying to figure out all the stuff I was going to talk about, it still came back to the fact that of all the stuff that I have heard from my friends and we've talked about this movie, it's always going to be the Zombots.
That's true. That's absolutely true. It just keeps getting more fun. Dimitri's on his own now down in the lab and just keeps seeing more weird. You think you've seen it all, and there's more yet to come.
Nope, they keep coming out of the woodworks.
Yeah,
and you keep seeing different ones, and they have different functions, and they do different things.
Absolutely.
Until, of course, Dimitri gets captured.
Yes.
Which I thought was a stroke of genius in terms of story-wise. He gets captured, and of course, Frankenstein wants to use him because he sees all the video footage.
He sees the camera, yeah. He's like, whoa, wait a minute, don't kill this guy. Yeah, we need him. Yeah, I know. I thought it was a great twist.
Yeah, I was not expecting that at all when I originally saw it, and I had forgotten that that's how it played out when I watched it because I hadn't seen it. This was 2012.
I'm trying to think. The first time I saw this was probably maybe 2014 or something. I saw it streaming, so it'd been out a couple of years, I think, and it was just the title attracted me, and like I said, the graphic attracted me because I thought maybe this was done by the guys who did Iron Sky. So I thought, okay, this is going to be fun. And I think originally they thought about making this into a comedy, but they said, no, let's go straight on this. It's going to be a more fun movie to do it as a found footage film.
That and the fact, I think the reason why it sustains itself because it's now the Zombots, but also because these soldiers who are at the end of the war feel like they're authentic soldiers.
Oh, they do. They do a great job with that. Yeah.
Like they feel like, oh my God, I've been doing this for so damn long. Can someone just fucking end this shit now? But then they get tasked with another task. But they're willing to do it because they're supposed to be saving their own comrades.
Yeah.
And then, of course, they get really pissed off when they realize that that's not the case, that there was no comrades for them to go after. They literally are going there to investigate and find Frankenstein and bring him back.
That's right. Yeah. Well, yeah, the Russians want him back. The squad doesn't know that. That's the secret that Dimitri is hiding from them.
Yeah.
And when they find that out, they're not too pleased. Did you think? I always thought. I want to see if you thought the same thing. This really must have influenced J.J. Abrams in the film Overlord because it feels so much alike, very similar, except it's American. In that one, Americans are trying to blow up a installation that turns out being this weird laboratory. super bots or whatever, Yeah,
it's supposed to turn the tide of the war when they
right, and it's well known. And this is something we don't exaggerate, but Hitler had all these research type little facilities scattered all over Europe, trying to make these wonder weapons. So he came up with a jet airplane and the V2 rockets, and they were working on all kinds of weird stuff all throughout Europe to try to find a way to turn the war. And it came very close to developing an atomic bomb. If he'd done that, well, that would have been a long day for the United States and the world. Because that would have just changed the whole picture right there. If he'd beaten us to that one. So, so this stuff isn't quite as crazy as you might think. No. I've read some of the research that was done at some of the concentration camps and stuff like that. There was some weird stuff. They're trying to create a super soldier.
Yeah. And
or whatever, which is what these Zombots were supposed to be.
Yeah, super soldiers that can go out in the field and do the job and not need food, drink, or anything like that, which is what they do. They end up going out to, I mean, that's essentially why all the villagers are scared and terrified.
Oh, God, yes.
In a way, because these things come out at night and decimate everything.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
but I think you're right. With Dimitri getting captured there, all of a sudden becomes a whole different movie.
It becomes a whole different movie.
You see these. Well, not necessarily zombots, but some of the assistants that Dr. Frankenstein has are almost like they're like robots or whatever. They've been lobotomized or something. They're just like slave labor. They don't have any emotion. They act very robotic or whatever. So he's done something to them to make them just follow his every wish. And then Dimitri finds himself at this table, and here's Frankenstein dishing up this stew. And of course, the first thing that went through my mind is, what exactly is this made of? You've seen nothing but dead bodies all over the place. He finds pieces of his squad, what's left of them, and one of the guys has been turned into a zombot.
Yeah.
The little boy has been turned into a zombot. The woman has been turned that they found had been turned into a zombot. So it's like once this guy gets fresh meat, he's got plans for him. There could be all kinds of crazy things. I can't think. I think the little boy was the little boy, the little pot that followed Frankenstein around, had all the instruments on it and stuff like that.
I don't honestly.
I can't remember if that was the little boy or the woman, but it was one of them. One of the townspeople that we meet earlier was one of them. That was one of my favorite zombots too. Was the little pot with the swastika on it that had some of the instruments and stuff.
Well, it's actually, if you're watching the movie, you pay close to the zombots. It's actually really funny where they place the swastika on all of the.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. He's got to put that on there. Oh, yeah, absolutely. But yeah, now all of a sudden he's like, yeah, you got a camera, you've got to film this. We've got to, I'm doing my grandfather's work or whatever. It's like, that's not quite what I remember Victor Frankenstein doing, and according to the book. But okay. That's sort of a weird take on your grandfather's work, I think. Yeah. And he wants to create the ultimate soldier, where he takes a German and a Russian.
Oh.
And put one half of one's brain and the other half of another brain, and put them together and create a Russian-German soldier or whatever, to see what he was going to do there. I couldn't quite understand his logic on that one of how that was going to create a superior soldier, but I thought, oh, what the hell? Probably beats putting an airplane on the head of another guy or something. So
hey, he has to test out all his theories, no matter how crazy.
That's right, yeah. So that's where we're at with Dimitri. Is that you've got to document this for me and show people what I'm doing here.
Yeah, but unfortunately, that actually happens to Sergei. So by the time Dimitri's captured and is doing his little video documentation of Frankenstein's work, he's also trying to convince Frankenstein to go with him and his.
Oh yeah, he wants to complete his mission. Yeah,
he wants to complete his mission, but he inadvertently sees that all of his former comrades have been captured and been turned into zombots. Especially Sergei, who's already half Polish, is now half German and half Russian.
Yes. Yeah, it's going to be his brain that they're going to use. I forgot which one the only one of their squad that wasn't a zombot, there was only half of him left. He had nothing beneath the waist. He was dying. He was just in one of those carts that they were burning up. Mm-hmm. And just sort of saying, just kill me, please kill me, just kill me. So I guess I don't know if he used the guy's legs or for something or whatever, but he was getting hauled off to the incinerator where they were putting up a lot of them up.
Very disturbing.
Yes, yeah.
Because these are the people that you've been following the whole movie, and all of a sudden you're seeing them being cut up and diced up and made zombots. And
of course, the other thing that Dimitri didn't win over any favors with the squad also was when they found out he'd been blocking their radio transmissions.
Oh yeah.
So they couldn't send out an SOS to their superiors or whatever. So they had no idea what was going on. He totally prevented that from happening, but he was able to talk to him, and there was a bombing mission headed that way, so he knew he was running out of time to get old Dr. Frank to come with him.
Well, that's one of the things that I loved about the film too, is that as a certain point, they have a limited amount of time to get things done, and Frankenstein knows that they're coming to bomb him.
That's right. Take out the whole installation. Yeah.
They take out the whole installation, and that's why Dimitri feels like he's a time crunch to get Frankenstein on his side.
Right, right.
And so the movie now becomes a ticking time bomb type of aspect, where we have a limited amount of time, and everything is progressing really fast,
real fast, yeah.
Which is funny because eventually, what's his name? Frankenstein doesn't need Dimitri anymore.
No, he doesn't. Yep, it's like nope. You've served your purpose. Thank you. Let me just take this camera with me here, and
which is
gets all his books together and stuff so he can take off.
Which is funny because it's Dimitri's fault, because he passes out and knocks himself out, and when he wakes up, Frankenstein says, "Well, you don't have any more use for me, so now you're going to become a zombie."
Right, right.
So it seems that with the film, Dimitri kind of deserves a lot of stuff that happens to him.
Absolutely, yeah. He had that one coming. Although I think it's going to be his brain. I think now is going to be the Russian brain that they're going to put together with a German brain or whatever. And Victor doesn't quite get to it.
No, because
just as he's going in for the kill, all of a sudden you hear a gunshot, and Victor falls over dead, and then we see dun dun dun. Sasha,
the youngest of all of this Russian show.
He survived. Yeah, one of the American actors.
Who was kicked around and bullied by the.
Oh no, I think he was a British actor. Actually, sorry, I'll take that back. I believe he was a British actor.
Which I had forgotten that happened with his character.
Yeah. He runs up to Dr. Frankenstein and says, "You don't need this head anymore, do you?" And cuts it off and says, now he can take that back to the superiors and say, "We accomplished our mission. Here's Dr. Frankenstein."
Yeah, and he also takes all of the tapes too.
And he takes the camera and everything.
He takes everything with him, and Dimitri is left there.
Poor Dimitri. Yeah, just can't buy a break.
Well, yeah, and the thing is, you would think that'd be poor Dimitri, but then you say, he kind of got what he deserved.
Yeah, really. No, he had that one coming.
Which is one of those rare things for a found footage film. You don't usually think or want the person who's running the camera to kind of get what they deserve.
That's true. But old Sasha, the young naive guy, through the whole movie, and I love the way they did this. I didn't really catch it. It was one of those when I first saw the movie, I saw this scene, and then I was like, maybe been a few hours later, and I go, "Oh, wait a minute!" Now I realized what it was. It showed a picture of Sasha standing next to Joseph Stalin.
I know,
smiling, and it was sort of like, "Oh yeah, he's now the big hero. He's probably been promoted, and he's Joseph's best friend now." And
the thing is, I'd forgotten that was in there until I rewatched it. And I was
it was a great way of doing it. So like, yeah, look at me, I'm the big hero out of this whole thing.
Yeah, I got some chuckles out of that.
So they got Stalin got his propaganda, and Sasha got he outfoxed everybody else, because there's really no explanation of how he survived. Last we saw him, they were in those corridors, and those different zombots were coming from all directions. It was just like, there's no way they're going to get out of this alive. These guys are coming from everywhere, and they're not easily killed. That's the thing.
They are not. A lot of them are kind of bulletproof, depending on what they were made out of.
Absolutely.
Or the bullets just bounced right off the metal.
That's it. So old Frank there, he did make some super soldiers. A little bit out of control, but they were.
Well, he says they're all controlled by him, but when he leaves, they will all want to kill each other.
Yeah.
Which I thought was very interesting to put that in there as a concept. But of course, he gets shot before any of that really happens.
Yeah. Oh, the guy playing Victor was I think he was a foreign actor, Carol Roden, and yeah, he was from Czechoslovakia. But he did you might recognize him from a movie we were talking about before we started the podcast, Hellboy. We were talking about Hellboy. He was in Hellboy and The Bourne Supremacy. I mean, The Bourne Supremacy, and does voiceover work on some video games. So you might recognize him, but I was trying to think. He looked familiar. I mean, he was the oldest guy on the cast.
Do we think
he just had that look about him? As a mad scientist.
Anyone else from the film actually do more work? I don't think so.
Not really. I didn't recognize a lot of them. The guy who played Sergei was on a couple of American shows. He was on one that I didn't see, Gallivant, that ran for 2 seasons in 2015. So he must have might have picked up that gig after this. Series called Rogue, and then the Neighbors did some appearances on that one, that television series. At No Tomorrow and Monarch. So he looked sort of familiar, but again, it's like one of those where like, yeah, but he sort of favors a lot of different people. Most of the others I did not recognize at all.
Interesting.
So I think Luke Newberry, who was one of the other, he was one of the other English actors who played, that was the one who played Sasha, the younger, that's what I was looking for. Yeah, was a British actor, was, most of the stuff he did was in Great Britain. He'd won a couple of television awards, their equivalents of the Emmys or whatever for a couple of series he did over there, but I don't think he did anything in the United States that I can recall. And he was only about like 19 or so when he did this movie. He was really young.
Interesting. Because that's the one thing that we don't see a lot of in the live found footage films either. A lot of the actors are in the live found footage we don't really see go on to do more films.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, it's such an odd thing. It's like this genre isn't treated the same as a normal film. Like you probably are not going to see like Angelina Jolie or Brad Pitt star in a found footage movie.
No. Well, I think it would be hard to, because they're too well known. And even though we now know that by now that found footage films are manufactured or whatever, but still it helps if you don't recognize any of the people, because if the film's strong enough to pull you in, like some of the ones we've talked about that did that, and Apollo 18 was a classic example. I know there were some people that did actually become sort of well known out of that on television or whatever, but at the time I saw it for the first time, I didn't recognize them, and so it was very easy to fall into that storyline and think, these are real people that were going through that or whatever. So yeah, you put a Brad Pitt in there, and your mind's always telling you, no, this can't. This isn't real because it wouldn't be Brad Pitt, or whatever, or someone that popular.
Well, that's one of the good things and bad things of the found footage genre. They don't usually use a lot of big name stars, so the cost
would defeat the purpose.
Yeah, it defeats the purpose, but also the cost would be astronomical, like film.
Yeah.
But that is what allows these lower budget films to actually be able to turn a profit and then and be successful as well. So
I mean, you look at the Paranormal Activity franchise, how much money that has made. Oh my God.
Yep.
Unbelievable. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, I know I criticize that franchise a lot, but there's no denying that they make money.
Yeah.
They made a ton of money, or they wouldn't have made so many.
Yeah, it depends on what you talk about. I think Jason Blum, who can't believe that he still kept making so many.
I know. Well, yeah, he and a lot of us thought, how in the world is this still going on? Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Especially when I think the last one came out just a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
the streaming one, Next of Kin, which has nothing to do with any of. Well, it's a very poorly executed one. The one he was making the comments of, that if I didn't produce it, then they were going to without me. Type of thing. So yeah,
Yeah, considering the first one came out 18 years ago, so and it's still going.
Yeah,
They may beat Friday the 13th's record.
that would be Saul. Saul's getting real close to it already.
Saw is getting very close to that one. Yeah.
But with this one, I'm trying to think of, this is a very unique. Well, actually, it's not unique anymore because Army of Frankenstein's freaking Frankenstein theory. I was about to say it could have been unique, but the idea of putting Frankenstein in the film or title is not just a marketing ploy. It's something that is actually it's really big marketing ploy. I think this film would have succeeded with or without the whole Frankenstein in there. To be honest.
Oh yeah, I mean, look at Overlord. Overlord did real well, and it's a very similar story.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. When we brought that up earlier about Overlord, I was like, yeah, you know what? They didn't need to make Frankenstein.
Yeah, and I had no idea. It's funny. I went into that movie thinking it was about D-Day. I had no idea it was going to be the film that it was.
I didn't either.
And it amazed me how much I liked the film because usually when I realize this isn't going to be what I think it's going to be, usually it sort of colors, but it's like I really like what they're doing.
Same here.
So it's yeah, and that one had a lot of people I didn't recognize in it as well. I've seen some of them in other things. Now in other J.J. Abrams productions, but
yeah, I was about to say other J.J. Abrams.
I went in totally cold on that and was just totally shocked at how different it was. And I think Abrams meant that. I mean, he didn't want you to know, that it was sort of like Cloverfield was the same way.
Mm-hmm.
We sort of had an idea about what that might be, but it was totally different than what I anticipated, and in a great way because I really loved that one as well. And that's another found footage film.
Which one?
Cloverfield.
Oh, I think you said another one after Cloverfield.
No, that one itself. I mean, that's also a lot of people. That became so popular, people don't even think of it as a found footage film, but that's how it was made.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing everything from the camera, that one little dude was hauling around all the time because he was told to document everything.
So, I'm trying to think of what else have we not touched upon in this film? Because this one, unlike some of the other ones we've discussed, is a film that we're more likely going to find people who have never ever heard of this movie and never seen this movie. And we want people to actually check it out because Frankenstein's Army is actually much better than the Frankenstein's theory or Frankenstein's.
Yes, it's engaging as hell. I mean, I just got totally pulled into the story, and then it's all about the bots, folks. Boy, when you get to the bots, then you're not pulling away. It's like just can't wait. You can't wait to see what's coming next because it gets so bizarre. The one bot after the other. It's just like, okay, what are they going to throw at me next? And they managed to top themselves. They must have had fun putting that one together. I remember the guy with the big legs and arms, like on stilts. Folks, I can't really describe this stuff. You almost have to show you a picture of it for you to really appreciate it.
And that's the other thing too is when you are looking for this film, you'll be able to, despite or regardless of which of the posters or marketing images you're going to see some of the Zombots on
a little bit. And most of the movie posters, they got at least something, a rendition of something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Any final words for this one?
This is almost beyond description, but in a good way. And this is another one that got like a 5 out of 10 average rating on IMDb.
Really?
Like, guys, are you kidding me? Really? The artistry that went behind this film? And I know that sounds weird in a very gory, like bloody film, but I mean, the artistry behind the special effects makeup in this and it being all practical just blew me away. It was like, this is incredible what they did in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. This was another one that I would give on your rating schedule because I know you're going to ask me that question.
I am going to ask you that question.
A solid 4. Again, this is another 4 from me.
So for everyone who's never listened to our podcast, we rate the movies from 1 to 5. One being 4, 5 being great. As you can tell, Jim has given it a 4. I'm going to give it a 4 as well. I actually liked it better the second time I saw it than I did the first time, because when I first saw it, I was a little distracted. I couldn't remember anything about the movie other than the Zombots. When I rewatched it, I understood and listened to a lot more elements of the film that makes it much more interesting.
I would have to say my experience was very similar to that as well. Yeah, the second time around was really good.
Yeah, the second time around was much better, and I actually loved the third act after with Dimitri. So,
right.
Yeah, I think this is another solid found footage film, and I hope that audiences will go out and seek it out if you've never seen it. This one's readily available, so this one's going to be one of the easier ones.
Oh, yeah. I'm trying to think. I think I found it on Amazon, and I think Tubi had this one.
I think Tubi had it.
If you don't mind a few ads here and there. But, yeah, it was very, very easy to find.
Yeah, this one was very easy to find. And that, like I said, that's probably because of this is not one of those films that had like a huge theatrical release. Did we ever figure out if it did or just played a film?
I found no evidence that it was ever released theatrically. I saw a couple of mentions of two festivals that it appeared in the United States, but nothing about any theatrical release.
So then that was probably one of the reasons why it was so easy to find. It's one of those.
Oh, probably so. Yeah.
It's made its life on streaming and DVD and so far, and that's how it's got its cult audience. This is what I was saying at the very beginning of the podcast, which is sometimes this one is definitely a cult film in the making, if it isn't already considered a cult film, because of not only the Zombots, but because it's always going to be popular to do movies about,
Oh, and I double checked. Yeah, it was definitely Tubi, Prime Video. Of course, Prime Video, you got to be, subscribed to it. But the other freebies were Plex and Fossum. So you can find, you're bound to have one of those free ones.
So it's out there. It's good.
Yeah, it's definitely out there.
Yeah. So, I was about to say something, but I can't remember what else. But we talked a lot about this movie, and we talked about a lot of elements of this film. And for a lot of people who have never seen this film, we don't need to talk too much more about it. We want them to go out there and see this film. This isn't like some of the other films we've seen. I mean, like almost everybody has seen Cloverfield.
Yes.
But this one it deserves its cult status. We hope more people get to see it and take the opportunity to watch this one. This is one of those films we believe actually deserves being called a cult film. If not, it will finally reach the status of being a true cult film when somebody like McFarlane Toys or Soto or Nika decide to do action figures based on some of these zombies.
Wouldn't that be wild? Yeah.
I'm surprised no one's done them yet.
I'm surprised Sideline hasn't jumped in on that one, because they're really good at doing that stuff.
Yeah, I would have expected that by now for that one, but no one's done it yet. So hopefully, if someone with them are listening, they will actually take us to heart. Take this to heart.
I'm surprised that the director Richard Raffors, I think is how he pronounces his name. He's made 6 films, directed 6 films. His experience was in the art department for a number of films. I'm surprised he hasn't made another one since then. I don't think it has anything to do with whether this film was good or bad, but I'd like to see some more stuff by him.
Oh, you're right. He has done mostly art direction.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff in art direction.
Yeah.
That's sometimes one of those things that's very we wish that some of these people who are not necessarily directors at heart, but come from like the music department or art department, will do more films because for some reason they have a great knack for it, but then they only do a film here or a film there. Wow, it's surprising. I was hoping that he would probably,
Yeah, I mean, because like we've talked before, these are very hard films to direct.
Mm-hmm.
They're not easy to make.
They're not easy.
You're going to do it well, and when you do one well, that means a lot of good work went into it.
Yeah. But that is going to be all for this episode, because we don't want to give away everything.
No, I don't
I think we actually did give away almost everything for this film.
But I think in this one, it doesn't matter. I mean, it really, really doesn't matter
because you're gonna watch it and you're gonna.
There's stuff we couldn't really tell you.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't find words to describe it.
Well, this is one of those films where I honestly believe that because there's Frankenstein's theory in Army of Frankensteins, this one gets lost.
I think so. Yeah.
And so I think that the more we talk about this film, the more likely people are going to go watch it. So.
Yeah, and it definitely gets confused for that awful Army of Frankensteins that, because it sounds similar, because the titles are very similar. So.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Jim, for talking with me about Frankenstein's Army. Everyone out there who's been listening to the podcast, I hope that you've enjoyed this conversation about Frankenstein's Army and that you will check us out on your favorite podcast app, Spotify, YouTube. Like, subscribe, follow, do that thing you do with your favorite podcast, because every week we will have new episodes, and we have done a ton of episodes beforehand. And as you have heard us talk, we've been doing a lot of found footage films this year in 2025. So we'll have plenty more to come from.
Leave a comment too. That always helps.
Yes, leave a comment.
It helps with your position. You can find us easier.
Yep, and let us know what you eat. Let us know what you think. Let us know if there's some films that you would like us to discuss that aren't Frankenstein's theory and Army of Frankensteins. With that, my name is Kevin L. Powers, and from all of us here at Something Wicked Entertainment, we hope you've enjoyed this conversation. From all of us, have a pleasant day, and we will see you on the next episode real soon. Thank you so much. Conversations in Horror is a Broken Lighthouse Pictures production, written, produced, and directed by Kevin L. Powers, executive producer Kelly A. Inoka. All contents and material from this episode of Conversations in Horror is copyright 2025 Broken Lighthouse Pictures.